Day program also celebrates our Victorian multicultural and multi-faith heritage and community. We wish love and peace for all beings, healing for our earth, fellowship and unity for all through friendship.
Our Vesak program now begins with a Dharma talk, and we welcome to the stage the Most Venerable Ajahn Brahmavamso, Abbot of Bodhinyana Monastery in Western Australia.
Very good.
We invite Ajahn to please give the Dharma talk. Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. I'm very happy to be here, Venerable Sangha, monks and nuns, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I've been sitting behind this curtain ever since Venerable Sudhamo's talk, waiting for the curtain to open. I know that having stayed in Australia for many years, many Australians, they're not really interested these days in organised religion, which is one of the reasons they like Buddhism, because Buddhism is disorganised religion. But it still happens, it makes it work. Those of you who've ever been to Asia know that we do have programs, we don't keep to the schedules, but it happens and everybody's happy because that's humanity. And I'm very pleased to come here today to give the talk. I did notice many representatives from the different faiths, and I think I should begin by explaining the meaning of my name. Ajahn is a Thai word meaning teacher, and Brahm, the surname, means B for Buddhist, and R for Roman Catholic, A for Anglican, H for Hindu, and M for Muslim. So we welcome everyone. I do apologise if there are any people from the Jewish community here. I try to fit it in, but sometimes we just can't be perfect. But nevertheless, it's very wonderful to be here again, coming in this morning from the West, and also to relate that I was here last year, just how wonderful it is to be able to go around Australia and around the world, creating harmony and peace between not just the different religions, the different parts of Buddhism, and the different people who aren't even Buddhist, to be able to serve and give these precious teachings which the Buddha left us to help all beings. For example, just even recently I was in Indonesia, where many Christians and Muslims were coming to my talks, in fact, to show just how popular Buddhism is in our modern world. Now, they were telling me that Lady Gaga is soon to open a concert in Jakarta. Her ticket sold out in 2 days. My ticket sold out in only 8 hours, which shows that Buddhism is more popular than Lady Gaga. And why is that? Because the Buddhist teachings don't try and make one particular path superior to another. There's one of the teachings which many of the Buddhist monks and nuns will know is carved on stone in India, which was carved by the Emperor Asoka. And he left that message to people of all religions 2,300 years ago, and it's still there today. And he says that anyone who puts down another person's faith only succeeds in demeaning his own religion. There's a beautiful saying there, that especially as Buddhists or people of any religion, when we put down or make other people feel inferior, that is that we don't understand our own religion. So even then, they understand the importance of mutual respect. Because only when there's mutual respect can there be harmony. And one important way of creating that harmony is actually learn. Not just to teach the Dharma, but to understand how other people hear us as well. Because sometimes we as Buddhists can think that we know it all and we can be so superior. We don't actually listen to how other people understand things. A good example of that is that I was at a conference in the University of Western Australia presenting alongside with a Catholic abbot of our local Benedictine monastery. Over many years we've become friends, and because we become friends, we had deep discussions where we could ask any question, challenge each other, because our friendship was stronger than any possibility of offending each other. And I remember at this conference, one of the very senior Catholic people here in Australia, Father Frank Brennan. He was the person who the government of Australia selected to try and investigate, including human rights in the Australian Constitution. And he asked me in particular, as a Buddhist, what's the Buddhist idea of God? Now, for many Buddhists, this might feel to be a curly question, because in Buddhism we don't have the concept of a creator God. But instead of just talking from a Buddhist perspective, we want to be able to take these teachings to a deeper level, to make them acceptable to others, and to also to bridge that gap between our religions in this country. So I used a saying from my friend Abbot Placid from the Benedictine monastery north of Perth. I said, I've known this man for so many years, and he's often told me that he has a fundamental understanding, a fundamental belief that all human beings are searching for God. Now, I respect that position. This is an example of how to create harmony. I respect that position which my friend takes. So what do we Buddhists search for? We Buddhists search for peace, we search for harmony, we search for truth, and we search for the great understandings and insights which the Buddha taught us. That's what we search for. So if we're human beings too, and my friend says everybody searches for God, then that must be what God is. Truth, love, peace, harmony, those great insights which solve the problems which divide human beings. When I said that, everybody agreed. And then we had harmony between some of the greatest religions of our world. All it really takes is not arguing with each other, but understanding each other, to be able to put aside our own views for a little while and understand the world from another person's perspective. Is one of the reasons why the Buddhism has always been a tradition which has not just talked peace, but has actually promoted peace in a very, very positive way in our world. Buddhism doesn't have suicide bombs, which is why that I always object whenever I go through the customs in the airports. They should let me go through straight away, because we don't do terrorism or bombings. And anyway, I often say that as Buddhists, we're not scared of a terrorist bomb, because I travel a lot on aircraft. I travel so much that some of my supporters once asked me, aren't you afraid of dying in an aircraft explosion at 30,000 feet set off by a terrorist? I said, of course not, because there are three advantages in Buddhism of dying at 30,000 feet in an aircraft explosion. The first advantage is an instant cremation. If any of you have ever organised a funeral ceremony for your relations, it takes such a lot of time and it's very, very expensive. And an aircraft explosion at 30,000 feet is done on the spot. That's the first advantage. The second advantage is how much the funerals cost you. They're so expensive. And if you die at 30,000 feet in an aircraft explosion, not only is it free, but the aircraft company pays your family some money. So you make some money out of the death. And the third advantage is even the best. If you die at 30,000 feet, you're so close to heaven, it's easy to go the rest of the way. Which is an example of why Buddhism is getting very popular in our modern world, is because it has a philosophy which is so positive. Recently, actually just a week ago, I was in Kuala Lumpur giving a series of talks, and they gave the theme of my series of talks, don't worry, be happy. Easy to say, isn't it? Don't worry and be happy, but many people are extremely worried about the future, are worried about their family, worried about their finances, their life, and their health. But what is worry anyway? As a Buddhist, we all know that what worry is looking to the future with a negative mind, seeing all the things which might go wrong in the future. And the opposite of that is looking at the future and seeing all the things which might go right. Looking at the future with worry is called fear. Looking at the future with a positive attitude is called hope. So I changed the title of my series of talks. Don't worry, be hopey. So I invented a new word in the English language, which I hope will get in the Collins Dictionary pretty soon. Be hopey. And I think if Australians were more hopey, rather than more worried, we'd have a much better and healthier people over here in Australia. Which also actually to emphasise that much of our work as Buddhist teaching monks and nuns, please don't forget the nuns. I'm going to make an objection here that too often, this is Australia, the monks are sitting in the front and the nuns are way back over there. This is Australian Buddhism. So please next year the organisers go have the monks one side and the church. Because frankly, if Buddhism is going to really reach the people of Australia, it has to accommodate, without breaking the traditions, and it doesn't have to break the traditions, to accommodate to our modern world. Otherwise we'll get left behind just as a museum piece. But we work to our strength, which is on the psychology, which Buddhism has taught for such a long time. And even just last night in my talk in Perth, which, because we use modern technology, all the talks we give over in Perth get streamed live, over 30,000 people throughout the world listen to the talks. So please, all the monks here, if you do give a Dharma talk, please don't just keep it in your temple, just put it on the internet, stream it live. And just like we get in our temples in Western Australia, people, 30,000 people throughout the world just tune in and listen to that talk and ask questions afterwards. Last night I had a question from El Salvador, questions from, I think, Prague, and questions from New Zealand, thereby making this beautiful teaching accessible throughout the whole world. But not only that, making it very useful.